Hello, I hope everyone is fine. So today I'm making a video again, and it's only because there is something on my mind and I really want to talk about it. Most of the time when I hear people talking about something, or I read something online, it could be on LinkedIn or it could be simply on Google. So I start thinking about something, and it could be, let's say, I want to address a misconception, or I want to address some kind of confusion that we might have as teachers. So today I really want to talk about this thing. Have you ever heard English is different in international curriculums, and English is different in let's say ministry curriculums? Have you ever heard of this thing? Now let's think about this thing. Does it really make sense? Because English is one language, right? English is a language, and most of the time it's not even our own language. We are not the natives of the language, right? So if it is really changing, or the way of teaching it is really changing, what does it actually mean? It doesn't actually mean that the English is different. It means that our understanding of it is different, which is why we educators, when we teach it, it becomes different, it looks different, the practices look different. Why? It's based on our own understanding of that subject. Most of the time we might not even be the masters of our own subject. Most of the time we might not have specialized, let's say from a recognized university or from an international system, where we could really look deeply into what the subject really is. What are the skills in the subject? What are the strategies that teachers can use to teach those particular skills in the subject? Okay, because there are surface level skills, but then there are also a lot of micro skills. Okay, this is how deeply you need to understand your subject in order for you to really sort of pass a judgment or come up with this notion that English is different. English is not different. English is language just like any other language. All of different languages, for example, it could be Arabic language, it could be English language, it could be Urdu language, it could be Hindi language, it could be French language. Languages are languages, and just because a French person is going to teach French, or let's say a Pakistani person will teach French, it doesn't mean that French will be different in Pakistani system and French will be different in French system. It is still the same language, but the understanding of the educator and then his practices of teaching it makes that subject, or makes it different. So which again means that we have to really deepen our own knowledge and our own understanding of the subject to really raise the bar and raise the level of how we are teaching that subject or teaching that language in the exactly right way where it makes sense for the learners. That's the difference. The difference is not that the English is different. The vocabulary skill here in international curriculum will be the same vocabulary skill here. But now what exactly should be different? What should be different is our expectation. One is the understanding, due to which sometimes we mess up how the language should be taught. That's the understanding part. But now let's also talk about, let's say if we have good understanding of it, okay, the teacher, let's say in ministry curriculum, the teacher in international curriculum, both the teachers are masters of their subjects, and they have deepened their knowledge and their understanding of the skills and strategies, thinking routines, and how to really think in different skills, work in different skills. Both of them are really well equipped to teach that subject. So now what's going to be different here in ministry curriculum and in international curriculum? What should actually be different is your expectation. And if your expectation is different, what it exactly means? How can you change your expectation? You can change your expectation when you understand how to differentiate. This is how differentiation is helping you. If you have good understanding of differentiation, which again is based on your observation of your kids, understanding the levels of your kids, then only you can differentiate. So which again means that, let's suppose if you are teaching kids in ministry curriculum, okay, and then you are teaching kids in international curriculum, so the difference is in expectation, which is exactly the same as you have the expectation from different levels in your class. you have a high level of expectation, and you are more strict and more expectations, and you expect more from the kids whom you know you can push them to produce a lot of work and let's say essays and paragraphs, and show more seriousness and more perfection in their work. This is the expectation from them. But then from the ones who are at intermediate level, you will not be that strict, even in the expectation that you have from their work, and also even in the assessment. Like, your expectation will not be the same. So the change in expectation, this is the difference. And now think of the same difference as different curriculums. If you can differentiate well inside of your classroom, you can identify 3 different needs, you can identify 4 to 5 or even sometimes 6 different kinds of needs sitting in your class. You can easily switch roles. You can easily go and teach in any curriculum, because you know how to identify the need and then work according to that need, adapt your expectation according to that need. It's all about how well your mind can differentiate. But if you don't understand how differentiation works, then most of the time you will be complaining. Let's say if you were already working in international curriculums, but you really don't know how to address the needs of the kids who are very weak and they don't have basic literacy skills. So you have worked with very advanced kids. So when you come to, let's say, ministry curriculum or the curriculum where expectation is a little bit lesser than how it is in international curriculums, then you would be complaining, oh, they can't read, oh, they can't write, oh, they can't do anything. But actually the problem would be with you, because you don't understand differentiation. We differentiate inside the class as well, and if you look at it in a bigger picture, you will be differentiating in between the curriculums as well. So I hope it makes sense that English language doesn't change. It is the understanding of the educator. If the educator has a really good understanding and specialization in their subject, and they have studied a lot, tried to understand the skills of their own subject, use their critical thinking a lot to really deepen their knowledge and deepen their understanding, and making use of lots of different strategies to really see what works in any particular skill. Okay, so they will be teaching it the right way. But if we are rigid in our mind and we are not willing to really understand our own subject or the subject that we have at hand, and yeah, we got our degree, let's say, but we really didn't do deep studying and understanding of the skills and how to tackle those skills. So of course, because of our lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, the way English would be then taught would look different and would be different. But it doesn't mean English is different in the curriculum. If all the teachers in all the curriculums have really good understanding of the subject, all teachers will be teaching the same way. All will be teaching the same way. The only difference would be in expectation. Okay, here I'm not going to give those complex kind of texts to my kids to read. I'm going to give them simpler texts out of which they could figure out what I want them to figure out. They can figure it out more quickly. So they will get that habit of reading it and finding out what are they looking for. Here, these kids in international level, let's say they are very good readers, so I'm going to challenge their thinking even more by giving them complex texts, by giving them complex tasks to work with while I give them those tests. So it's all the expectation is what is different. Language is never going to change. Language is one language. It's one language, just like many other languages. All languages are actually, the skills in all the language are exactly the same. So it's not the difference in the language. It's the same in any curriculum, but how you deal with it based on how you understand it is going to be different. And in case you are really understanding it very well, then you need to have good understanding of differentiation. So no matter whichever curriculum you can go to, you can differentiate based on the kids that you have. If you can understand the needs at advanced level, needs at intermediate level, needs at kids who are working at below grade level, so of course when you move to the curriculum where expectation needs to be a bit lenient, you can adapt and you can work according to those needs and those expectations, right? So I hope it makes sense. Thank you so much.